Hi, I'm Kristina Bergsten with the Animal Law Firm, where we are fighting for the underdog. I am going to give you a brief primer on what to do if your dog bites another dog or is accused of biting another dog. I get this question a lot. I know I've answered it before. We have like probably 4 blog posts on it, and I'm sure I have at least 1, if not 2 videos already, but I keep getting asked. And it's probably for the best anyway, because my older videos aren't as cinematically pleasing from my perspective. Anyway, so if your dog bites another dog, the first thing to do is to not run over and stick your hands in the dog fight. I know that sounds like it should be common sense, but you'd be surprised. The other thing not to do during a dog fight is stick your finger up the dog's butt. I know that I've had this. I have not had this happen, but I have heard of this happening through my work. I had a lady who somewhere, I don't know, she said she heard that if you put your finger up a dog's butt, it will stop a dog fight. And I was like, obviously. But she got bit. She didn't press charges because she stuck her finger up the dog's butt. Sorry, I can't stop laughing. I was just like, where are you from? Anyway, so yeah, don't do that. I recommend that if you're gonna go to like a dog park or something, carry a bottle of water with you, or like some kind of something that you can, like a bottle of water that'll like squirt, right? And if you squirt the water in their faces, like they'll get all disoriented and they'll separate. And usually the separation is long enough that you can like grab their collars. So I would recommend having a bottle, like having some kind of squirting water apparatus with you in case of a dog fight. So after they're separated, it's kind of up to you. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily here's the thing, right? Like if you leave and the other dog owner is like hysterical, they're just gonna get your license plate. So it's probably better to just stick around and talk to the animal. Well, don't talk to the animal control officer or the police, whoever responds. So like if you're at a dog park and you kind of can't really leave without the other person like writing down your license plate, like the neighborhood Karen, and then like turning you in, then just wait for animal control. Be like, I'm not making any statement. My dog's injured too. Like these things just happen. Like I'm not making a statement. And then just kind of like take, if you get issued a summons, give us a call, whatever. So just take it, just be cooperative. So then if you're like walking your dog and you drop the leash, so like if you're in your neighborhood, you drop the leash or whatever happens, or the 2 dogs walk by each other and they get into a scuffle. Again, I would just kind of say like, it's up to you if you stick around. Like if you give your information to this person, they're definitely going to report you. Now, sometimes I'll get calls from people and they're like, oh, this person said they weren't going to report me and now I've got charges and now I'm mad at them. Like sometimes if you take your dog to the vet and you say, oh, my dog was bit, like veterinarians are mandatory reporters. Hospitals and doctors' offices for humans, as well as animals, are mandatory reporters if there's a dog bite. So if you give this person your information, they're going to, like, unwittingly, they're going to be like, oh yeah, sure, this is the name of the person. Because it's not like the hospital, like the medical professional, whether it's animal or human, is going to be like, oh yeah, if you give me this information, like we're going to press charges because we're a mandatory reporter. Like they're not going to tell you all of that because I don't know, everybody just doesn't feel that everyone needs to have complete information, which I think is bollocks, but whatever. So like, just tell the person, like, hey, just send me the medical bills. Like, here's my phone number or something. I mean, I don't know. You're going to have to kind of gauge it. Like, these cases are so hard. So it's like, it's hard to tell you what to do, right? You kind of have to gauge the other person's personality and be like, look, I'm willing to pay for the bills. Like, please don't report me. You can even tell them, like, if you give my name and information, like, maybe you should just try that. Here's my name and information, but don't give it to don't give it to the hospital because they're a mandatory reporter. And like, you just said you don't want to press charges. I will pay you. Cause like, and then if you don't, they can always press charges later. Right. So I think a lot of people just really, there's a lot of adrenaline flying when there's fur flying, in these cases. So, I don't know. I mean, like I said, you just kind of gotta gauge the situation. So the other thing that can follow, so let's say like your dog gets into a fight, I don't know, you give the information, you don't give the information, somehow animal control comes to your door, or whatever the local equivalent of animal control is where you live, and you get a citation and they want to take your dog from you. Now this can happen in Colorado and in New Jersey. Pennsylvania typically doesn't, unless it's a second offense, at least that I've seen so far. So make them get a warrant and like put the dog somewhere else. Like there's the Colorado state statute for a dangerous dog doesn't give the judge any authority that if you like put the dog in an undisclosed location with another third party, then like the only thing they can do is charge you with failure to obey a lawful order. And the judge could like technically like, but the judge can't order the return of the dog. So like they can charge you with these crimes, but there's no statutory authority for the judge to be like, you have to return the dog. Like, well, based on what, Your Honor? Well, based on I said so. Well, based on what law? And then there's none, right? And like judges don't like that, but I mean, it's the truth. Because like once they have your dog, it is so hard to get the dog out. Not without you paying a ton of money and not without them like holding you over a barrel. Because they have all the playing cards, right? And then they sit there and like, well, we just want to resolve this quickly because of the dog. Like if you care about the dog. Well, if you'd cared about the dog, you wouldn't have put the dog in solitary confinement for a dog-on-dog scuffle. So let's be real here. So like whatever you do, if you get wind of animal control coming to get your dog, take your dog to a third party. Don't tell them who it is. Don't tell your attorney who it is, where it is. Like keep that secret. Like don't let anybody know. And then yeah, you might face more criminal charges, but it's easier to get those criminal charges dismissed or like reduced than it is to get your dog back. I can tell you that. Now as like just the other day we had a call from somebody who said, well, they're executing a warrant where the dog is being held. What's the consequences of not obeying the warrant? Well, the warrant has to be addressed to the facility or the person where the dog is being held, right? So it's not you, it's not the defendant, right? It's some other third party. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the consequences of not obeying a warrant are, but that's the other person's problem, not yours. And like, if they get to the place where the dog is being held and there is no dog there, I mean, like, there's not really anything they can do. Maybe they can charge this third party with obstructing justice or tampering with evidence, but like, oh no, the defendant came and took the dog. Like, I would rather you have more criminal charges than have them have possession of the dog, because it's easier to defend the charges and it's cheaper to defend the charges than it is to like have your dog impounded, because I need time. I explain this to all of my clients. Like, I need time to get your dog out because I need to give an evaluation and I need to like be a thorn in the prosecutor's side and I need to get information and I like, there's just so many steps in the process, and like the more time that passes from the incident itself, the easier it is to like negotiate, because then everybody's not all up in arms like, oh, it happened just the other day. You know, emotions aren't flying as high if time has passed. So anyway, oh God, I cut my bangs and I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but anyway. So yeah, make them get a warrant, disobey the warrant. I mean, again, like, it's easier, just like don't tell anybody, but that's kind of the best advice that I can give you if your dog is accused. Carry a water bottle, don't stick your finger in their butt, and like make them get a warrant. Don't give them your dog. That's kind of like the best advice I can give you in these dog bite situations. Hope you found that helpful. It's always an interesting day at the animal law firm. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, underdogs. See you next time.